and well-trained men of the Ray Power Guide security outfit who ensure that staff, students, as well as the entire Oduduwa University community is kept safe from hoodlums. The Chancellor only recently took the issue of protection of lives and properties further by providing securities round the clock with the acquisition of a state-of-the-art firefighting vehicle which is meant to serve not just Oduduwa University but also to complement the efforts of the existing firefighting equipment provided by the government for Ile-Ife community, thereby serving as part of the institution's corporate social responsibility to the host community. At Oduduwa University, the hostel facilities are second to none. Parents can go home rest assured of their war's place of rest after their daily academic rigors, as the university boasts of well-furnished hostels for both male and female students. Equally available are well-furnished staff quarters in the school. At Oduduwa University, the welfare and health of both staffs and students is of utmost importance to the management. This could be seen in the establishment of a health center that caters for the health needs of the university community with 24-hour medical facilities, a well-equipped ambulance, as well as well-trained medical practitioners to cater for any kind of emergency at a subsidized cost. Other facilities that ease life's activities provided within the university community include a microfinance bank, First Access Finance Bank, water factory for the production of bottled and sachet drinking water, printing press for publications, and school buses to ease the transportation of staff and students to and from school. In its bid to fulfill its ambitions and visions to be the university of choice in Nigeria, Oduduwa University embarked on different developmental projects, especially in the areas of structure. Among the ongoing building structures in the university are the proposed Faculty of Law building, Natural and Applied Science Building Complex, OUI Filling Station, Utility Center Building, Postgraduate Building Classroom, Staff Quarters, and Road Network Construction. For a fast-growing university that is barely 10 years old, Oduduwa University Ikpetumodu surely has come a long way in a short time of our existence. At the pace, it is surely going to live up the dreams and visions of the promoter and founder to be the university of choice in Nigeria and Africa and the whole world at large.
When we got the license to run this university, the first thing I did was to find out why some universities, many universities in Nigeria, why they are not ranked as one of the best. So what I did was I looked for some good professors who are into education, and we decided to case study why some universities are not listed, don't even have good positions in the world. And I was able to package some things. We went to the United States, we went to the United Kingdom, visited some universities, and all those ideas are what we have started using gradually. Let us wait and see by the special grace of God. You have seen one of the best universities in the world. That is where you are.
For further inquiries, please contact us in our Abuja office, Oduduwa University Guest House, Plot 763, behind Cleverfields Primary School, off Fish Market Turning, almost opposite Akpo Filling Station, Akpo Resettlement Area, Abuja, Lagos office, 213 Egbeda Idimu Road, opposite Yemkem 5th Bus Stop, Idimu, Lagos. Or visit our website www.oduduwauniversity.edu.ng or call these numbers 080 56 56 56 56 or 080 58 55 55 58.
All right.
Naija, your love guests
I do believe in love at first sight.
I just think it's not possible.
You know, as a man, you move by what you see.
My love at first sight is a mental connection. Personally, don't want someone really shorter than I am.
Guys really don't pick up on things like that sometimes, and I'm guys.
My goal here is to find love.
I just like them average, light skin.
My love button is just showing me too much love.
You might be the most beautiful woman in the world, but if your nails are not straight and clean, I ain't doing with you.
Bad breath, bad odors of any kind.
I'm the moment naturally, so...
I'll be gone. I'll be a moon for life.
I love attention, maybe food.
I want to try again.
If a woman is like my heaven, like she gives me peace and good.
I was at the point of getting married, or my dad didn't approve of the relationship.
It's me, my man.
I want someone that's a little bit taller than I am and muscular.
I think you actually have to know a person to a certain degree before you say you're in love with them.
This is Mambila Plateau, a place in Nigeria endowed with enormous natural resources.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the Star Times platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
Slavery is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, now make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go.
The NCDC communication campaign titled Take Responsibility has kicked off.
As NCDC confirms 5 new cases of coronavirus, federal government to renew measures in stopping the pandemic in the country.
We'll be considering and announcing new measures from time to time, but rest assured that whatever decisions we take will be in the best interest of Nigerians.
Information Minister hints on government determination to aggressively pursue measures aimed at containing the spread of COVID-19.
For the first time, we are having something that is common to every humanity. Either you're black, either you're white, either you're brown. It doesn't respect anybody.
Traditional rulers and public influencers rise in support of government measures against coronavirus and join Nigerians to adhere to measures employed by government. Hello, lovely evening to you and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Joseph Johnson in Abuja. With me from Lagos is Michael Olaleye, Dibabari Nweke is in Port Harcourt, and Jos Felicia Daliop Semaila. Let's begin by telling you that President Muhammadu Buhari has commended all relevant agencies, private organizations, traditional and religious leaders on their efforts in fighting spread of COVID-19 in the country. Ruth Aguele has details.
The president particularly recognized willingness for self-isolation, social distancing, and contributions of public-spirited individuals and institutions who consistently mobilize resources to supplement efforts of federal and state governments. The president, in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, extols state governments, religious bodies, health workers, federal government agencies, including security outfits and manufacturers associations of Nigeria for rising to the occasion to protect the country and its citizens, assuring that the government will remain steadfast in deploying more resources to lessen the burden of the pandemic. President Buhari further reassures that efforts being taken to curtail the spread of the virus will not affect production and distribution of food, medications, medical equipment, and other essentials as the nation wades through the global health challenge, which already portends for their economic strengths. The president directs all relevant agencies and regulators to provide an enabling environment for industries to sustain their operations by ensuring reasonable access to industrial supplies and inputs like water, fuel, gas, and essential infrastructure, and relaxing the stringent laws, commending the Central Bank of Nigeria and commercial banks for the interventions to make forex and credit more accessible to those on the manufacturing line, and giving assurances of firm support for the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria by proactively addressing the potential impact of the pandemic on the Nigerian economy. The president requested that all necessary measures be put in place to protect and promote the health and safety of industrial workers. President Buhari calls on all leaders across the country, including religious and traditional leaders, to further support the federal and state governments in the ongoing sensitization programs on the need to stay at home and keep a safe distance in the public. The president affirms that a collective effort will make a historic difference in checking the spread of COVID-19 and keeping citizens alive.
And latest report from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has confirmed 5 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, bringing the total count of confirmed cases to 51 in the country. At a press briefing in Abuja, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, says the federal government is reviewing measures put in place to halt the spread of coronavirus in the country. Olusheye Adeagbo has more.
From the Ministry of Health, Thursday, March 26th, the number of persons that have been tested positive to the virus have increased to 51, with 48 active cases, 2 discharged and 1 death. Dr. Ehaniri also disclosed that the federal government is working closely with states for contact tracing to identify those who have been in close contact with confirmed cases.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has deployed rapid response teams to affected states to support response activities. I want to here already strongly urge all health facilities at all levels, whether public or private, to be on high alert for healthcare and also for healthcare workers of all cadres to maintain a high index of suspicion and to give full cooperation to contact tracers everywhere.
Now that Nigeria has started receiving assistance from within and outside the country, the health minister assures even distributions of all items received, with Lagos State having the largest share because of the number of those that have been confirmed.
The NCDC communication campaign titled Take Responsibility has kicked off. It is a call to all residents in the country to join hands to be proactive in taking greater individual and collective responsibility for the prevention and control of the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria.
Dr. Ehanire advised that every Nigerian must take precaution by practicing social distance, report suspected cases, and maintaining personal hygiene. In Abuja, Olusheye Diagbo, NTA News.
And the federal government has restated its determination in adopting an aggressive approach in enforcing measures aimed at containing the spread of COVID-19. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed announced this at a media briefing in Abuja. Anthony Fulson reports.
The truth is that time is running out. If we don't urgently and more aggressively enforce the measures.
Indeed, time is running out. It is in view of this that the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed explained that the federal government's tough measures will include stopping interstate and intertown travels except on essential services, closing all motor parks and interstate rail stations just as train services have been suspended. The federal government will also deploy firefighting and adaptable vehicles and personnel to fumigate cities and towns.
We'll be considering and announcing new measures from time to time, but rest assured that whatever decisions we take will be in the best interest of Nigerians.
The federal government, the minister added, is taking measures to increase the number of bed spaces for isolation for suspects. With Nigeria recording 51 cases so far, there are over 4,300 people of interest who are being traced.
Many are busy engaging in meaningless criticisms instead of complying with stipulated directives to keep people safe. Some Nigerians who flee into the country from overseas filled wrong addresses and phone numbers in their forms, making it difficult to trace them when the need arises. Some Nigerians defied orders to stay away from large gatherings, while some religious leaders willfully flouted the directives to ensure social distancing. Some people up to now live in denial. They claim it will not be their portion.
The minister, however, cleared the air on the rising instances of fake news, which he said is not helping the fight against the pandemic. For instance, he said the story about only 2 ventilators in Abuja and 1 moved to the villa is false, just as the report of a British Airways flight, which was due to land in Nigeria on Wednesday, is also another fake news. Most worrisome is the story on President Muhammadu Buhari. He, however, expressed gratitude to airlines who have suspended their operations, describing it as a boost to government's effort in checking the spread of the pandemic. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In order to strengthen national response to COVID-19 in Nigeria, an industrialist and founder Bua Group Abdul Samad Rabiu has announced a donation of 1 billion naira through the Bua Foundation. The 1 billion naira donation will be done through the Central Bank of Nigeria-led Private Sector Coalition Committee against COVID-19. Bua Foundation also placed an order for additional donation of equipment and medical supplies, including testing kits and medical protective gear, to 9 states in Nigeria. States to benefit include Lagos, Kano, Adamawa, Edo, Kwara, Rivers, Abia, Akwa Ibom and Sokoto. Each of the states will receive about 100,000 protective face masks, 1,000 high-grade medical protection and isolation gear, 2,000 protective goggles, 1,000 gloves and 1,000 testing kits, amongst other things. In a statement, Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu said the medical supplies are being airlifted and will arrive Nigeria as soon as possible, justifying the need for the private sector to lend a hand in curbing the spread of coronavirus. In addition to this, the BUA Group has also selected 7 states across all geopolitical regions in Nigeria where significant members of the BUA workforce and their families will help preparedness and response to the challenges posed by the pandemic. Chairman, Kebbi State Traditional Council of Chiefs and Emir of Gwandu, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyasu Bashir, has condemned statements by few personalities in the country criticizing some measures to curtail the spread of coronavirus. The Emir urged Nigerians, irrespective of religion or political affiliation, to adhere to all identified measures to curtail the spread of the disease. Abdullahi Ilyasu reports.
The Emir of Gwandu, who commended the various steps taken by the federal and state governments in managing the COVID-19 scourge across the country, urged people to abide by all the measures to safeguard their lives. He also expressed concern over comments credited to some individuals in the country against measures taken by the federal government to control the spread and contact with the virus.
We must obey our leaders and abide by the rules put in place to curb the spread of this coronavirus.
The Emir also enjoined people to continue praying to see the end of the coronavirus pandemic across the world. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdullah Umar Ilalu, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerians have been implored to adhere strictly with both federal and state governments' directives on the need to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. The Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeye Ogunwusi, said this while speaking with correspondent Rotimi Akamo in his palace. The monarch emphasized that directives are for the benefit of all and sundry. He speaks further.
For the first time, we are having something that is common to every humanity. Either you're black, either you're white, either you're brown. It doesn't respect anybody. Stop peddling rumors. We're having a lot of rumors flying. What is even critical beyond COVID-19 is fear. We should avoid fear and we shouldn't instill fear in one another. Please remember SAH. Stay at home.
A total lockdown is the most effective way to stop the spread of COVID-19, says the President, Nigerian Medical Association, at a press briefing held in Abuja to advocate for a better approach at all levels on efforts to contain and manage coronavirus disease in the country. Hakimat Aliyu brings us the details.
Continues to record more cases of COVID-19. The Nigerian Medical Association, as a professional body in the health sector, calls on the federal government to take uniform stand for effective measures to interrupt the chain of transmission.
Once we get those who have been infected and they are treated, that is the end of that scourge. The moment you still allow this movement, it is most likely that one way or the other, that infection, once you get to that community, it will spread and will keep going around the same circle over and over. So what we need is a federal agreement so that everybody stop that movement and we can contain that disease.
Dr. Francis Fadili advises health workers to ensure strict adherence to infection prevention to protect themselves, as well as educate the public on the advantage of social distancing and proper use of gloves and face masks.
It is wrong for anybody to think that hand gloves protects. You want to do an event and you're at high risk at that event, you put the hand gloves. After finishing the hand glove, you remove it there and you wash your hand with soap and water. If you are going within the street, you don't need to put hand glove. Face mask is a special gadget that must be used as it should be. Some people put face mask from morning to evening, and when you are sitting there, when they want to talk, they use their hand to touch it, bring it down.
NMA also advises states, including the Federal Capital Territory, to mobilize healthcare volunteers to assist in containing the spread of COVID-19. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
A report just reaching us says the NCDC has confirmed additional 14 new cases of coronavirus, 2 in FCT and 12 in Lagos, bringing the total of confirmed cases to 65. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is preparing for the worst in responding to the impact of COVID-19 on the nation's economy. The Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said a coalition of private sector operators and bankers committee has been inaugurated, with core committee members expected to donate 1 billion naira for the purchase of equipment and other supplies. Dr. Nogoyemi reports.
Few days after it announced plans to inject 1 trillion naira to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the nation's economy, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed the setting up of a coalition with 4 committees mandated to providing funds, equipment, data and information, and operational guidelines to supporting government in its fight against the spread of coronavirus.
The rate at which the virus is spreading is unprecedented, and it appears we are fighting our most lethal adversary to date. So far, the federal government of Nigeria has made strides in the fight, but it is clear that the private sector needs to step in and support efforts already being made. The objectives of the coalition are: 1. Mobilize private sector thought leadership. 2. Mobilize private sector resources. 3. Increase general public awareness and education and buy-in. 4. Provide direct support to private and public health care's ability to respond to the crisis. And 5. Support federal government's effort.
The CBN governor noted that more than 120 billion naira is needed to procure equipment to combat the pandemic, and calls for donations from international and national organizations, as an account will be set up for the CBN to receive contributions towards this regard. Time, he says, is of the essence, and gave 2 weeks deadline to receiving material or financial donations. In Lagos, Dotun Okunyemi, NTA News.
Elder statesman and founder Afe Babalola University Ado-Ekiti Afe Babalola has said it's time for scientists in the university he established to engage in research, as others do in other parts of the world, for a solution to COVID-19. In a statement by Head of Corporate Affairs of the university, Afe Babalola expressed concern that the global pandemic is grounding the social and economic ventures, stating that worship places and educational institutions are now restricted for business as usual. The statement hoped that the research will help in finding cure to COVID-19, maintaining that the effort is part of giving back to the society as corporate social responsibility. Joining me now from our Benin Network Center is Professor Daniel Okwagai, applied mathematician and mathematical epidemiologist, Department of Mathematics, University of Benin. It's good to have you on NTA Network News.
Having me. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about your field, mathematics. So what role could mathematical modelers and mathematical modeling play in assisting health officials bring the current COVID-19 outbreak to an end?
Good question. You know, the figures are frightening. I mean, you just announced new figures just right now, and locally, internationally, these figures are really worrying. And it's time experts in other areas join with those our colleagues in public health or in other areas of the medical fields to tackle this problem. So it's beyond someone saying this is a problem only meant for those in public health or those in other areas of the biomedical sciences. So you need to bring to the table other experts. Now, having said that, with the information and data that you have, especially from the NCDC, biomedical models could use such information to further gain insight into the dynamics of COVID-19, both qualitative and the quantitative dynamics. In fact, these models could help us to identify parameters or variables that could be playing some significant roles in driving the local transmission that we're having, especially in the country, local epidemics we're having in various states in the country. It's not a matter of just throwing numbers all over the place. But these models could help you identify those key parameters and variables that could be causing problems for certain states and that may not be relevant in other states. Apart from that, these models could help us investigate the impact of different control measures and preventive measures, really, on the dynamics of COVID-19. Of course, we could use them to estimate the size of the outbreaks that we are having. We have various control measures all over the place, and some of them are really stringent, like the lockdown, which is good. We have other control measures like restricting the number of persons who can gather in a particular place, and
Professor,
other kinds of measures.
Yes, Professor, sorry for interjecting that. What key questions can these models answer at this point in time?
One of the important questions we need to answer now is what exactly is the reproduction number? What exactly is the reproduction number? That is the number of secondary infections that one sick person could cause. Apart from that, the pathogenesis of the disease is already well known. If you are applying control measures and the incidence is still going up, why is that happening? So it's beyond just throwing numbers around. Somebody is telling us that the reproduction number is 2.5 or 2, but how did you get such information? So we need accurate data, we need accurate information and to know what is going on state by state, and then be able to apply whatever control measures that we feel is more effective in such areas where we have these local transmissions taking place.
So just before I let you go, in the course of the ongoing pandemic or even localized transmissions, how can these models help public health officials like the NCDC plan into the future in order to bring the outbreaks to an end as other control measures are rolled out?
Oh, they will be of help. In fact, the NCDC need to, like I said before, bring on board mathematicians, statisticians, and other scientists who could play a key role. And number one, it will assist them in planning. I'll give you a very simple example. We don't have a vaccine for COVID-19 at the moment, and there are no antiviral drugs for that. But assuming the vaccine is available, how do you determine the proportion of the population that you will vaccinate? Who gets the vaccine? Of course, those who are mostly vulnerable. If you are talking about preventive measures and materials they're going to use, for example, somebody talked about face masks, deploying of sanitizers, hand sanitizers. So what proportion of the population will you give that to? You need to work these things out scientifically. If you're going to do testing, what proportion would you test? You talk about asymptomatic and symptomatic routes for infections. Which proportion of the population would you get to be involved in testing so that you could quickly bring a halt to the pandemic? So yes, we don't have to use a knee-jerk approach and throw numbers around. We need to be very scientific and try to involve those who are in modeling so that they could guide. The idea is to guide those in public health so that we can take far-lasting decisions, far-reaching decisions that will at the end of the day bring a halt to the ongoing local transmissions in various states.
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, you've been very mathematically scientific at this point, but thank you and we wish you the very best. Thank you for speaking with me. I've been speaking with Professor Daniel Akwagai, applied mathematician and mathematical epidemiologist, Department of Mathematics, University of Benin. Well, do stay with us here on NTA Network News. We just take a break. We're back shortly.
As from Friday, 27th March by 12 midnight, all routes linking to Kano State will be closed to avoid interstate movement. This is in compliance with the proactive measures taken by Kano State government under Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje against COVID-19. This involves all passengers coming to the state through the domestic wing of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport that they will not be allowed to enter into the ancient city of Kano, as security agencies like the Nigerian Police Force, along with the Kano State Road Transport Authority and the Hisba Agency, will see to the full enforcement of this. People are strongly urged to work with the advice of health workers. Hand washing with soap and running water, as well as the use of hand sanitizer, must be observed, and people should continue to pray hard for the state, the country, and entire humanity. All workers who were asked to stay off offices should observe stay-at-home directive by the government. Other members of the public should avoid going to the market unless if it is absolutely necessary, as congestion must be avoided in all other public places. Announcer Abba Anwar, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kano State.
With the current confirmed case of coronavirus disease in our country, it's important that we spread facts and not rumors. According to the NCDC, wash your hands regularly with soap under running water and use hand sanitizers frequently. Cover your mouth and nose properly with tissue paper when sneezing or coughing, and immediately dispose of the tissue in a covered waste bin. If a disposable tissue is not available, cough into your elbow. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness such as coughing and sneezing. Verify any information on coronavirus disease from the NCDC. Remember, your health is in your hands.
This message is brought to you by Dettol Clean Niger in partnership with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and the Lagos State Office of SDGs and Investment.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
In our nation's drive to boost its economic base through non-oil export, Smedan has taken the challenge of industrializing our nation through a program called OLOP. OLOP is a program which identifies a product in a local government that has competitive and comparative advantage. And the aim of the program is to reach the 774 local governments and help the nation to industrialize. With the support of the federal government, Smedan was able to reach 218 local governments in our country by providing the cooperative group training, workspace, equipment, and working capital. We call on all the critical stakeholders in MSME ecosystem, as well as the international development partners, to join us in our vision to transform the economy of this country under the transformation agenda of Mr. President in Smedan. Think big and start small.
So sad. You're feeling blue because you got nothing to do. You need to step up to the max deal. Go TV.
To the Max deal. Get GoTV Max for less this month. GoTV. Live it, love it.
No perfect family may be under threat by germs. Germs can cause infectious diseases like diarrhea, typhoid, and flu. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. In Nigeria, tens of thousands of children under the age of 5 have died due to diarrhea caused by germs. These illness-causing germs are everywhere. Dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes, in unclean bathing water. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. For surface cleaning, for first aid, for your laundry, in your bathing water, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol with aloe vera. Soothing aloe vera with the power of Dettol, which is soft on skin and hard on germs. Be Dettol Sure.
Cheetah International Hotel, pleasurable evolution you can't resist. A concept delivered. Cheetah International Hotel brings you face to face with an unimaginable experience you can't erase. You'll like to come again and again. One thing you will hate is to be told the story. Another thing you will love is to be part of the story. You are looking for where your gain equals the cost. Break even with Cheetah International Hotel with our world-class event center that is set to blow your mind away. A world-class arena equipped with top-notch facilities, syndicate bathrooms, hall 1, 2, and 3, underground basement hall, gallery, and many more. Located on plot 224, Solomon Law Way, Utako District, Abuja. For more information on your highly distinguished hotel services, call 081 007 18882 or 081 007 18883. Cheetah International Hotel, a place where your history and future is made.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is spreading at an alarming rate all over the globe, including Nigeria. With the number of infected persons in Nigeria increasing daily, prevention is better than cure. Coronavirus has no cure. The virus spreads from one person, who affects two persons, and by the time the affected person is isolated, the two persons have affected four, and it keeps spreading. You must take preventive measures to save yourself and that of the people around you. Always wash your hands with soap and water. Put distance between yourself and others. Whenever you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth. Clean and disinfect surfaces. Stay at home if you're sick and contact the proper authorities. Together, we can cut down the spread of the coronavirus. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest TV network.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching NTA Network News with me, Joseph Johnson. Let's take you to Kano now, because the state government has ordered the immediate closure of both land and air borders effective from Friday, 27th March, to avoid interstate spread of the global pandemic. Fatima Sanusi Karaye in this report also examines other measures put in place to curtail the spread of COVID-19 and level of compliance.
As precautionary measures, the state government took stringent steps by shutting down schools, ministries, suspension of social gatherings, and luxurious buses from entering the state to halt the spread of the deadly virus. However, at one of the motor parks in the metropolis, where the luxurious buses usually dock, people were seen going about their normal businesses as buses were lined up ready to transport passengers to other parts of the country.
This one now is something that concerns lives of the people around. And now what we are trying to do is that we are trying to harness information from the state government. Let us know the limits that we can operate.
What is sad is the defiance to the coronavirus social distancing order as people move around in public transport carefree, where passengers are crowded in an enclosed space, talking and breathing on one another, oblivious of the impending danger.
So it is a very dangerous thing that our people are still continuing to do their social interactions. Large gatherings are still happening.
It is in view of this that the Kano state government ordered the closure of all routes linking the state from other parts of the country, effective from Friday 27th March by 12 midnight.
In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karaye, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in Jigawa State, Task Force on COVID-19 is engaging various interest groups in a series of consultations to find ways of effectively averting the spread of the deadly virus in the state. While Mohammed Kazaure reports that reducing large gatherings at public and private places took center stage at the meetings.
Jigawa State does not have a single case of coronavirus infection, but the state government is not resting on its horse in enlightening its citizens on the dangers associated with the disease. Part of the measures include series of meetings with opinion leaders for the message to reach larger population.
In terms of congregational prayers, that has to be shortened.
Meanwhile, situation reports from across Jigawa State indicate that people are coming to terms with preventive measures against the pandemic. Traditional rulers, religious leaders, security operatives, transport operators, and the civil society groups have joined in the crusade to enlighten the public on the way to go.
To engage in dua, that is supplication, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guard us against this pandemic, to prevent it from even entering our area.
All church denominations should adhere strictly to minimum of 20 and maximum of 50 persons per service and meetings as directed by the government.
Meanwhile, all state civil servants are at home in compliance to the stay-at-home order of the state government for 2 weeks. From Duse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Governor Samuel Otom has expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness of the Benue State Isolation and Treatment Centers in readiness to contain coronavirus in case of any eventuality. Governor Otom stated this when he inspected facilities at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital and Federal Medical Center, all in Makoti. Bem Aya reports.
The facilities inspected at the Federal Medical Center and the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, all in Makudi, include 8 ventilators, monitors, and the 96-bed isolation center at the Federal Medical Center at P, all manned by well-trained health personnel. He said the state government will immediately expand and upgrade the intensive care unit at the Teaching Hospital Makudi for optimal performance.
We can only work within the guidelines that are available to us from World Health Organization and from National Center for Disease Control and the Federal Ministry of Health. And this is what we are doing. Here we are ready.
Chief Medical Director of the Teaching Hospital, Professor Terumu Swende, cautioned the public against speculation and panicking, saying there is no case of coronavirus at the hospital. In Makudi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
Chinese company Mutual Commitment Group has acknowledged the role of the media in the fight against coronavirus the world over, saying media workers truly need protection. To this end, the Chinese company has donated face masks and other protective equipment to the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. Moplang Dakok reports.
Staff of the Nigerian Television Authority as essential service providers, despite federal government stay-at-home orders, still work daily, specially saddled with the task of informing and educating the public, even as Nigeria fights the coronavirus. With an understanding of the task in view, the Mutual Commitment Group of China, operational in Nigeria, has donated protective suits, gloves, and surgical face masks to NTA.
We in the media have the responsibility to go in there, be at the forefront of the battle, get the true perspective, and disseminate them to the public. And for us to be able to do that, we have to interact with medical personnel. We have to interact sometimes with even infected patients.
The protective health materials are part of the first 50,000 of 150,000 materials brought into Nigeria by the company for distribution to various organizations and offices.
So, supporting the NTA, their reporters, are supporting this counter-virus war. Without their contribution now, the war cannot succeed on time.
This handshake by the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, and the Group Managing Director of the Chinese company is not out of defiance of the hygiene rule, but significant that together the world will defeat the coronavirus and soon the world will resume handshaking. In Abuja, Moplang Dakok, NTA News.
Activities have come to a halt in all train stations across the country following the directive by the federal government for the suspension of train movement. Oyinaya Kaluoka, who was at the Idu train station, tells us more.
The ever-busy entrance to the departure hall is quiet, unlike what it is to be, noisy and bubbling. You only sight few essential staff and some security personnel at the wall and notice pointing out to passengers that the train service has been suspended with immediate effect. The seats are empty, no movement, no passengers, in compliance with the directive of the federal government for the safety of all.
But what is going on right now, you see that the staff are really doing what we're supposed to do. That is, the maintenance is ongoing. Cleaning of the coaches very thoroughly is ongoing.
With the suspension of the Abuja-Kaduna train movement, staff of the Nigerian Railway Corporation has embarked on patrol along the rail track to prevent vandalism, and they are doing that with what is called rail bus. As you can see them, they are moving on, and this rail bus is used specifically for this purpose.
These are critical federal government infrastructure that needs to be protected, and we have the civil defense We have the Nigerian police that are assigned to do this job. They are on the ground. And right now, the patrol on the track is going to be sustained.
Business outside the station has been affected by the train suspension. Oyinaya Kaloka, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has arrested 144 offenders for overloading of vehicles on the highways as part of measures to enforce guidelines on the prevention of coronavirus spread in public vehicles. In a statement issued by the Corps Public Education Officer, BC Kasim, the Corps Marshal Dr. Boboye Oyeyemi observes the flagrant disobedience by public transport operators to the restriction on the number of passengers to carry in their vehicles without consideration for social distancing. The FRSC reiterated that all passengers must write their full information in the passenger manifest before commencement of any trip, as this is particularly important at this period when contact tracing may be necessary, while reminding transporters to regularly sanitize their parks and vehicles. The FRSC wants road users to report any errant transporter to the nearest FRSC office or call 0800 call FRSC 122 0906 700 0015 and 0805 299 8090. It's time now to join Michael in Lagos for more reports. Michael?
Hello, Joseph. Preventing the spread of COVID-19 requires adequate information. This is why the Lagos State Ministry of Health organized a training for journalists to equip them with relevant knowledge of reporting stories on the virus. Hingino John Adams reports.
Many myths, such as taking alcohol cures it, taking chloroquine prevents it, and even the virus itself is a myth, surround the understanding of many Nigerians on COVID-19. These myths, which have caused serious health complications for many, or even death in some cases, need to be addressed to prevent further damage. That is why the Lagos State Ministry of Health is engaging journalists. One of the critical points raised is that journalists should always get information from credible sources to avoid factual errors.
We should not just base it on, like we say, sports reporting, 51 affected, 6 healed, that we should now move into the realm of trying to educate the public, trying to increase awareness, and also trying to give the public some measure of comfort and confidence.
It is critical that the main vessels of information, being the media, print, electronic, and all of them, that you need to have the right information which you pass to the general public.
Today is open our eyes to deeper things about COVID-19, and more importantly again is the fact that some majority of the people out there are aware, but the knowledge is less.
As research on the virus continues to birth more information, it is expected that journalists will be properly equipped so as to pass the required knowledge to the populace. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports after this break. Please stay tuned.
So, you now want to pick my call?
Then bomb me where? Mommy of life. Toilet, mommy.
Where my car?
Mommy, now smart things remain.
If my car not ready before for tomorrow, me and you go put leg inside one trouser. Well, lie.
That's my phone. Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Look at this phone, no. All right, yes, ma.
Hey, Magel, Kini. Mommy, no be you. Don't waste your credit. When I finish, I go call.
You call me. Me when my middle name na credit. Where Glow they give me boku.
Glow and Mebo get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555* PIN hash.
This talk people. I beg give me my phone, make I go, Joe.
Talon so talk yen.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn.
but I'm more interested in drawing. How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn? You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind. Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing. Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
Confidence is important in life's little moments. Strong teeth can help even if they get her into trouble sometimes. A great smile is useful to break the ice. And making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent's Triple Protection 123. It's 3 toothpaste in 1 to give them cavity protection, white teeth, and fresh breath. The confidence of 3 toothpaste in 1. Pepsodent's Triple Protection 123.
I think she's got the hots for me. I think she likes me.
I don't think so.
Cut it out. That's my girlfriend. Guys, I'm out. Sweet boy, coming through. I'm all yours.
Ooh.
So tasty.
How is it going in there?
Pretty cozy.
Mini-Me, taste the fun.
The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria wishes to announce that following the grant of a market holiday by the Central Bank of Nigeria due to challenges faced in local and global economies due to the impact of COVID-19, APCAN is advising the public not to go into panic buying, hoarding and patronizing street traders. The association says the CBN has enough reserves to sustain supplies until the return of the Bureau de Change operations. The grant is to take effect from Friday, 27th March 2020, and there shall be no market days for a tentative period of 2 weeks. Alhaji Aminu Gwadabe, President APCAN, announcer.
Nigerians, coronavirus is dangerous. It can kill. When you see this sign, high fever, cough, shortness of breath, drowsiness, pneumonia, don't panic, don't hide, don't embark in self-medication. Promptly visit the nearest medical facility. Report all cases to the nearest hospital. Prevention is key. Avoid contact with infected persons. Avoid crowded areas as much as possible. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Your life is precious. Stay alive. Live long, live right. This message is sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and the Nigerian Film Corporation. Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibility.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Information, Senator Danladi Sankara, has called on Nigerians to be wary of fake news on the coronavirus, especially on the social media. Senator Sankara, in a statement, observed that there are a number of unrealistic stories on the virus which seem to create panic instead of precaution. He pointed out that the story making rounds a few days ago, alleging that some members of the National Assembly tested positive to the virus, as one of such fake news. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Information, pointed out that the duty to announce any case of coronavirus in the country is under the purview of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control or the Ministry of Health and not private individuals. Senator Sankara advised Nigerians to strictly adhere to the sanitary guidelines as released by health officials, especially maintaining social distancing and constant washing of hands. He explained that in spite of the 2 weeks recess, the Senate will be ready to attend to any matter of national importance. Let's now quickly join Dibabari in our Port Harcourt Network Center.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has confirmed the index case of coronavirus, adding that the state government has commenced contact tracing of those who had contact with the patient. Ogeniekwe reports.
This development, the governor announced that civil servants on grade level 1 to 10 will remain at home from Friday, the 27th of March, while markets are to remain closed from Saturday, the 28th.
The positive case is a 19-year-old female model from Edo State who resides in Port Harcourt. Her travel history reveals that she traveled to France, Italy, and Greece before returning to Port Harcourt on the 16th of March.
Governor Wike declined relaxing the measures as requested by some organizations.
Security agencies have also been directed to enforce all decisions taken by the Security Council.
He solicited the cooperation of Rivers people and other residents to contain the disease. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekwere, NTA News.
All right, that's all we can take from our Port Harcourt Network Center. The Buhari Media Organization, BMO, has described comments by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on the health status of the President's Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, as inhuman and mischievous. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niyi Akinsuju, BMO says even if Malam Kyari is in isolation after testing positive to COVID-19, that it is sheer mischief and ignorance to suggest that this has affected command structure at the Federal Executive Council. The group also wondered why the opposition party is always looking at capitalizing on any challenging situation in the country to play partisan politics. BMO assured Nigerians of the commitment of the Buhari administration to flatten the curve of the virus, but urged the citizenry to abide by the directives of local and federal authorities on social distancing. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged the Nigerian Correctional Services to take urgent steps to protect inmates at the various correctional centers nationwide from coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. The House Committee on Reformatory Institutions says it is imperative for the government to ensure that those in confinement are protected from the virus at this critical time. The committee called on Nigerian Correctional Services to put in place urgent measures to safeguard inmates and staff of the correctional service from contracting coronavirus, which is currently ravaging the world. All right, Felicia is in Jos, and it's just time to join her now. Felicia, it's over to you.
Thank you, Joseph. Welcome to Jos. Emir of Wasi and Chairman Plateau State Chapter of Jamaatul Nasir Islam, His Royal Highness Mohammed Sambo Haruna, is appealing for calm in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, urging all citizens to see it as a trial from the Almighty and seek for forgiveness from all wrongdoings. The Emir, in an interview with Belkis Nuhu, appealed to citizens to adhere to medical advice and obey laid down rules by constituted authority in curbing the spread of the deadly virus.
We, as Jamaatul Nasir Islam, are completely 100% behind those restrictions made by government. It was done in our own interests, and I appeal to each and everyone to please follow those restrictions, particularly the issue of being in crowded places, more than 50 at a time. This is just another trial from the Almighty. And panicking will not get us anywhere. We are to turn back to our Creator, asking Him for forgiveness, doing what is right, forgiving our neighbors. All the wrongs that we have done, let's try to correct them.
That's the much we can take from Jos. Joseph is back to you in Abuja for more.
Felicia from our Jos Network Center there. The armed forces of Nigeria has destroyed some structures belonging to elements of the Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, in strikes conducted at Muktu in the northern part of Borno State. In a statement by Acting Director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyoko, the mission was executed by the air component of Operation Lafia Dole on 25 March 2020 as part of the ongoing subsidiary operation Decisive Edge, after intelligence indicated that the ISWAP elements were using some compounds in 2 locations within the settlement to store their logistics as well as train their fighters. Subsequently, Operation Lafia Dole dispatched 8 fighter jets to engage the identified compounds, scoring accurate moderate heat, leading to the destruction of the structures as well as the neutralization of their occupants. The Armed Forces of Nigeria says it will continue to sustain the offensive against the enemies of the nation. And now let's just take a very quick break. Stay with us.
No perfect family may be under threat by germs. Germs can cause infectious diseases like diarrhea, typhoid, and flu. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. In Nigeria, tens of thousands of children under the age of 5 have died due to diarrhea caused by germs. These illness-causing germs are everywhere. Dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes, in unclean bathing water. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. For surface cleaning, for first aid, for your laundry, in your bathing water, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol with aloe vera. Soothing aloe vera, the power of Dettol, which is soft on skin and hard on germs. Be Dettol Sure.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Now the only way we fit take hala you o. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don't finish.
Thank you.
I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's now why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in that way because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it.
President Buhari condoles with Professor Awal Yadudu on passing of Mom Hajia Hama Yahuza. President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with Vice Chancellor of Federal University Brennan Kebbi State, Professor Awal Yadudu, and his family on the death of his mother, Hajia Hama Yahuza, who died at the age of 98, while praying to God to comfort all family members and associates of the departed matriarch, whose virtues of living a life of piety. The president noted that the deceased will be missed for her large heart. And that's the package on NTA News tonight. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Good night.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards